Hi, I am Dr. Kim Sage. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. Welcome to my YouTube channel and to this video based on the trauma types I've been discussing in the last week or so, basically from a series called What is My Trauma Type? Within a larger series called Wildly Loved. And so the goal is to help us understand that we are often living in the childhood adaptations of these traumatic experiences in life, these repeated wounds that we feel like we're still living in, except we're not anymore. We're living in our adult bodies and our adult brain, but our brain is very much living in the past in that trauma brain dynamic. And so my goal with this series is to really break down all of those things that we do and to help provide knowledge and resources to help us all learn to heal more and more. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell, and that way you'll be notified when I post new videos. Also, please check out my online courses, and I have a free one there and some other courses, some other resources linked down below in the comments section. So please check those out, or I should say below the video, and know that I'm always trying to provide whatever knowledge I can, and I so much appreciate when you all post and ask questions. I know I can't respond. I am kind of overwhelmed right now trying to make all of these videos every day, plus TikTok, plus my full practice of patients, and of course being a mom of 4, even though half of them are out of the house and I've got one about to go to college. It's still, they still live in my mind and brain all the time, and it is still a lot, I know you all understand, just to manage everyday daily life. And so please know that I care so much. I read most of the comments even when I don't respond, and many of them I even take to heart, and I don't necessarily respond, but I hear what you're saying, and then I shift what I'm doing or thinking about doing. And so I appreciate it very much. And also just it warms my heart when you share that this is doing something for you, because sometimes you think, am I helping anyone? Like, what am I doing? So thank you so much. Okay, I wanted to talk about the 4 main trauma types: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, that Pete Walker talks about in this book, Complex PTSD, From Surviving to Thriving. I wanted to really talk just for a minute about the positive qualities and strengths within us, even though we're talking about all these negative types, these trauma types, and how we get stuck and fixated and how bad they feel like they could be. I mean, yeah, but they also helped us survive. And so I want to shine the light today on the qualities you have. I start talking so fast. I'm going to slow down. You guys know, if you watch all of my older videos, I talked even faster. I have to really work on it. My nervous system just gets excited and I can't stop. So I'm going to slow down. Okay? So I really wanted to focus on the amazing qualities that you also have within these main 4 trauma types. And so we're going to do that today. And then in the next few videos, we're going to go into these combo types we can see. And so as I go through the hybrids, like fight and fawn or flight and fawn, the first word is typically your first go-to, right? And then the second word would be your other kind of backup response. Now, the truth is we all go through these, even people who don't have as much trauma or childhood trauma, but they don't get stuck and fixated on these kind of responses and being rigid. So that's the difference. All right, so let's start with fight. Fight is, according to Pete, there are some positive characteristics. They are that we can be assertive, that we can set boundaries, that we have sort of courage and moxie. I always say it's like the audacity, and leadership. So if you think about learning to harness your fight response, there's some great stuff in there where you probably know how to be assertive, to ask for what you need. And it may be that right now you're stuck in that fight response, and so the way you go about it is not really helping you. But the fact that you can access that is so powerful, and don't forget that. And I would say that the cornerstone of any real mental health and relationships with self and other is the ability to set and hold boundaries. And we all have different ones, and based on our culture and our families and our systems, they don't have to all be the same. But there's got to be some difference between who we are and the rest of the world. And I know we've talked lately about how, psychology has gone to this very individualized stance, and that doesn't serve everyone. And I think that's something worth talking about. But the bottom line is we do need some boundaries, I believe. And so only you can, figure out what those are, but it's important. So if this is you in your fight, don't beat yourself up. It's just learn how to manage and calm your body and maybe work on regulating yourself and maybe some communication skills so that you can really take the bottom line of this amazing ability to speak up for yourself, because don't take that for granted. Many of us could not do it. It took me, into my 40s to be able to truly self-advocate. I had learned that danger and conflict and anger, which also equaled self-assertion, was gonna go badly. And so as I've shared as a kid, when my mom would get upset and triggered, she would say something like, "Excuse me," like to the store clerk or something, or the waiter, and I would hightail it out of there. Talk about a flight response, right? Talk about that being my go-to response. I wonder why. But I learned that all that was scary. And so I wish I'd had been able to take some of that fight earlier on in life. I had to learn it a much different way. And I'm way better now, but it's been hard, and it's certainly not my go-to. The second one is flight. So if you have this quality, this would be me, first position, there are some positive qualities. You know how to disengage. Yes, I do sometimes. You can understand how to do healthy retreat, and I would say yes. We can be industrious, definitely, right? Workaholic, busyaholic, always planning about doing. We have know-how. We take charge. We know how to do things, and perseverance. We know how to keep in there, keep going. And so sometimes we do all of these things to the extreme, right? And that is the flight part, where we're doing too much. But if you think about harnessing the fact that there are times to disengage, there are times to remove yourself. There's something good about our energy behind making things happen. We get done, right? And so that's a good thing. Now, the flip side is we can pay the price for it in our immune systems, like I've talked about, where it just goes on and off. There's no in between. But I want you to tap into this. So if this is you, you just want to work on harnessing this more and not just going straight 0 to 60, maybe just go to 30, but you can still go, right? Just not all the way. So honoring yourself, but for what a doer you are, and how you don't make things worse sometimes by getting yourself involved in things. But don't forget to learn how to pause and bring yourself into things. The next one is the freeze response. If this is you, you have acute awareness. You can have mindfulness as a strength, poised readiness, peace, and presence. And so what's happening is you kind of know how to pause. Maybe you get stuck in pause a bit much, but you know how to do that. And that is so powerful, because let's say for flight, it's really hard to get mindful, to be present, because we don't know how to slow down our bodies and the nervous systems, but you do. And so for you, you might want to work on kind of bringing up that response. But don't forget to honor how beautiful it is that you have a gift and ability to slow it down and to be present. And that is another huge cornerstone we know through the research of managing our lives, is being present, being mindful, aware. All of that is powerful stuff. And so we don't want you to lose that. And lastly, Fawn. And this is a lot of us, these caretakers. We have strengths around love and service, compromise, listening, fairness, and peacemaking. And it's a beautiful thing to know how to care for people. It's a beautiful thing to not have the world just revolve around you. Problem is, the world sometimes does need to revolve around you. And so we want to honor these beautiful qualities you have and these strengths you have, that you are caring and compassionate. And yes, you may be a magnet for narcissists or things like that. And so you want to work on bringing yourself more and more into relationships and honoring who you are, and learning to maybe lean in a bit to that fight response, where you can become, more assertive, self-assertive, but you're also able to stay grounded in how much you care for others and how much it means to you to be compassionate and empathetic and give back. And so don't underestimate what beautiful qualities these are. All of these have strengths. And don't forget, through all 4 of these, being all of these things helped us survive and get to where we are. We just don't want to stay stuck in them. And so we can all kind of borrow a bit from each other. And if we can just become more flexible, that really is the key, I think, to working on healing our trauma types. And so, trauma types, I would say the key is, like I said, flexibility, and also working on our bodies. Never forgetting that all of these responses live in every parts of our cell and DNA, and they live in our body, right? And our nervous system. And so we want to work on maybe to just tweak them a bit where they don't quite feel so much like home, but we can make space for other types of responses. I hope this was helpful. I hope you will watch all these videos, and even though I'm always talking about like, oh, this is the bad part of this, that you are a survivor. You are here, you're here for a reason, and whatever work you have to do, it is never too late to start. I don't care if you're 80 years old. It is never too late, because there's a ripple effect, not just for your healing, but for everyone around you. If I could convince so many of these parents who are, adults, and their kids that I see in therapy are definitely adults also, if they began healing, even after all that damage, it would still make an impact. It might not change the outcome of the relationship, but there's something about it when you know that someone who has hurt you is at least trying to heal their life and repair. Even if you're in it or not, it does have a ripple effect, right? What affects one of us affects all of us. And so just, lots of self-love and grace and self-compassion today. Love on yourself, even though you're maybe thinking, oh gosh, I have so much work to do. Yeah, but it's just one day at a time. And don't forget to honor the parts of yourself that brought you here and that got you here and that are keeping you here. So thanks for watching. Please stay safe and well, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.